Hello, my famous friends, and welcome to Fame Ready, the podcast to show you that anything is possible. Yes, including fame. I feel like I'm breaking all of the rules today because I'm recording this at a time when there's actually this kind of nice natural light coming in. I never record this early. It's never this sunny in the middle of January. Not even the middle. It's still only January 5th. I'm getting ahead of myself. But I'm like, maybe I should just record this in the natural light, which I'm assuming is not really what the professionals do. Like they'd be put on that studio light regardless, but we're trying something. I know it's a little bit shadowy and weird, but we're rolling with it. So hopefully this comes out okay in the in the final edit. Why am I all off schedule today? Okay, Gabriel and I are taking a vacation. It is not like the whole Mexico vacation of my dreams, but we're making the most of it. We are going to, drum roll please, Calgary. Okay. And while we're there, we're gonna go to Lake Louise, which was kind of like the compromise. Like, hey, if we're gonna go somewhere cold, let's make sure we go somewhere that's bougie and cold, right? So that's what we're doing. So it always feels kind of weird because today is the day everyone's back to work. I live in a school zone, so the energy just feels chaotic because all of the kids are obviously now going back to school, and so there's the drop off and all the kids, and the energy just feels like there is energy. I mean, for the last 2 weeks I have been in my house. Honestly, I could probably count the amount of times that I left on one hand. And it was really nice. And getting back into a more regular routine is feeling hard. And then it's really hard to do that on top of going away because I'm actually going to just be out of routine again. So it's one day and one day to reset. But I I wanted to record this episode today before I left because I actually think that it sets the tone for everything that's about to happen in 2026, at least in my business. And I'm sure if you're listening to this, probably yours too, because if you're listening to this, there's a part of you that is obviously going to be traveling more for your own business. And, in the past 48 hours alone, I've sent out so many links to different events that I'm going to and, different events that I'm speaking at. And people keep asking me, what events are you going to? What should I go to? What would you recommend? And I don't know when I became a local influencer of female entrepreneur events, but I love this for me because it's allowed me to celebrate and share all of the events that, I have on the books already for this year. And then obviously as the year goes on, I'll be able to share more and more. But as I kind of not settle into the rhythm of 2026, obviously there's going to be a lot of travel again. Um, we talked about this in one of the most recent episodes. I counted 88 days of travel in 2025. If you were to ask me, are you going to do that again? The answer is yes. And it's probably going to be 100. And I mean, I really like that rhythm. I enjoy traveling. It's a lifestyle I've always wanted to have. The hardest part about it all is that it means I have to leave this guy behind, Mr. Schmextons, who is licking so much right now. But I always got the worst anxiety, sadness, depression before I leave because I'm oh, I don't want to leave you. And that is the only thing holding me back from traveling more, I think, is the fact that I love being home with the dogs. I love being at home in general, but obviously a big part of that is being at home with these guys because it really is they're my little family, right? So, what I want to chat about today is how you can start making the most of all the events that you're planning to attend this year. And if you're not planning to attend any because you don't know which ones to go to, this is also for you because I figured I would share just some of the events that I already have in the calendar. All of the links to all of these events will be in the show notes, so you can check them out for yourself, grab a ticket. I know some of these are selling out really quickly. For some, there are only general admission tickets left. So yeah, I mean choose wisely. A client of mine actually asked me, because she wants to start going to more events and networking, and obviously going to events is a great place to find not only future clients, but if you're someone who wants to speak on more stages, like going to events and building your network that way is really a non-negotiable for me. So if that's something you want to do as well, would really recommend it. For one of my clients, she had asked me like, what kind of budget should I set for like going to events? Like, how much can I expect to spend like every quarter? And I gave her like the rough budget of like tickets alone, okay? So like $1,500 per quarter, okay? Because there are some events where the VIP ticket is $1,500 alone. So maybe you say, okay, this quarter I'm gonna go, to this event, I'm gonna do VIP because that's gonna give me access to more events within that like larger conference where you could probably meet more people, have closer proximity to speakers, all of that. Or you can take that $1,500 and split it up into like, a $500 event every single month. Or maybe that's like a couple events every month, kind of equaling $500. $1,500 really feels like that sweet spot for me. Obviously, it's a budget, right? So you don't have to use the whole thing. But that feels like if you're someone who wants to grow fast and if you're someone who is really interested in getting in more rooms, that's kind of the budget I'd recommend. Obviously, airfare and hotels can vary too. I think the best advice I can give on that front is like, pick a hotel partner too, or get a really good travel credit card or something like that. And yeah, really start to rack up like points that you can use. I know for me, one of my business credit cards has a really great point system. So I've been able to like buy a lot of my flights on points, which softens the blow there. And then obviously, if you're getting paid to speak at events, you can always ask to have your airfare covered, which is cool too. So that's kind of the rough budget I would send. Other if we're like looking for metrics and you're like really looking to plan your year, I always say like one event per month feels like a great cadence. Sometimes that doesn't have to mean traveling, right? Like, I'm a member of my chamber of commerce. I actually hold myself accountable to going to one local chamber of commerce event every single month. And that's a really easy ask because what I love about the chamber events is they're pretty short and sweet. So like they might only be like a 2-hour happy hour or 2-hour breakfast. You go, they're really focused on like making sure like that you're there to network. So I went to a really great breakfast um, in November where it was like literally a networking breakfast. So they had activities set up so you can meet a lot of people and do some speed networking. And I found that really, really valuable. So this is my year of like getting more involved in the chamber, I think. Like she's a professional. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I never even considered that the Chamber of Commerce might be for me. It is. Okay. Just think of it this way. Like, I mean, okay, I'll give you some backstory first. So my Opa, he's no longer with us, but my grandfather, my Opa, he back in the day, up until he died, was like such a involved member in like his local community when it came to Chamber of Commerce, Board of Trade. He was German, so like German Business Association, all of those things. Like he was on all of the boards, on all of the committees, like that really was a legacy that he wanted to leave for himself, but he also just really believed in supporting and building up his local community. And it just feels really like fun for me to be kind of doing the same. Obviously, like my business is so different than his. He had a construction company, but I'm feeling like this is like a part of him that I'm like now living out. Like it makes me a little emotional as I as I talk about it. Cuz I don't see a lot of like business owners who like have predominantly online businesses who, might be solopreneurs or teams of one or small teams. We often feel like those spaces aren't for us, but they are. And actually it's in our best interest to be a part of those spaces because think about your business, like it has an economic impact and what happens in your local community is important to you and how you do business and how you live. So I just think that for each and every one of you, if you're really like if you're like, I want to have this personal brand that like is a leader, is, a contributing member of the community, then I'd take a look at your local chamber of commerce. I've met some great contacts through there. I've met some great clients. So I just really, really, really recommend it. So for me, I go to one chamber of commerce event every single month because that feels like, okay, I'm increasing visibility in that area, and I find that, at least for me, my local chamber of commerce events are really, really affordable. So that allows me to like go to one of those events and then maybe go to something that is a little bit more spendy. So yeah, those are just some metrics for you. If you're someone who loves a target, if you're someone who likes to hold yourself accountable, those are the numbers that I'm typically giving my clients when they're looking to build up their personal brand by going to events. So the next question that I get a lot is, how do you choose the events that are right for you? Like, how do you know? And the thing is, you guys, you're never really going to know, like, is this an event where I'm going to meet a client? Is this going to make me money? Like, there's a part of you that has to know you're taking a risk and you're just going to see what happens. But typically, so I was having this conversation with a friend yesterday, and she was asking me, like, based on her brand and based on, like, her goals. I had done some work with her, so I know some more intimate details of her business. She was asking me what events I think would be good for her to go to. And for me, I was really thinking of the fact that she's someone that also hosts events. And so when I was recommending events to her, I was thinking, like, okay, who is the audience at these other events? And are they people that would travel to the event that she hosts? And for most of them that I recommended, I was like, oh, yes, definitely that one. Definitely that one. She has a bit of a unique brand that has a little bit of an edge to it. So it doesn't always feel like it's, um, you know, totally in line with maybe some of the branding of some of these, like, kind of more, I don't know, really girly, super feminine events. But at the same time, that's just the brand. That doesn't mean you're gonna walk into a room and be surrounded by, like, bubbly blondes with the sorority sister vibe. I actually, every event that I've gone to has been so welcoming. I've never felt like left out. I've never felt like I didn't make friends. So I actually just don't think that you can really go wrong. But when you're looking at events to go to, it's always looking at, like, okay, who are the speakers? So, like, what are the kind of the topics being covered? And then who is this speaking to? And you could even get ChatGPT to like help you on this one, right? Like, here's a really easy hack. Like, just copy the landing page website copy, put it into ChatGPT and ask it, like, what target audience do you think this is reaching? Because if you're a more established business owner, like say you're someone who wants to reach like 7-figure founders, you're going to want to make sure that the events you're going to are speaking to an audience at that level. A lot of the events that I go to right now are definitely positioned for like 6-figure founders who are growing. So for me, I know when I speak at those events, or even when I go to those events, I will meet clients who can afford to invest in my services, who are looking to invest in their business. When you're trying to work with a 7-figure founder, obviously that's a bigger investment. You probably have a service offering that requires them to have a larger budget. So that room might look a little bit different. So it's really doing your research. You can use ChatGPT to help you kind of understand who it's targeting through language. You can also look at the speakers. Maybe look at their Instagram, and it's like, what are they predominantly talking about? Are they talking about more like beginner content, or are they talking to a more advanced audience through their content? You'll be able to tell right away, because as a business owner, where you're at. If you're like, okay, I'm more in the early stages of building my business, and this is the kind of content that resonates with me. I mean, I can look at someone's Instagram and know, like, okay, I think I'm kind of beyond who their target audience is. So do your research on the speakers, because speakers generally are making sure that they're using their time wisely. It's only in the best interest of a speaker to go speak at an event where they will also make money from that audience. So that's a really easy way to tell if that audience is aligned for you too. The other thing is content. So and this is where it's funny. This is not actually like how I choose events, but I guess I have to put it out there because this is how probably most of the general population chooses events. So something to also look at, like if we're talking about like, okay, what are the topics that the speakers are covering? It's also like, well, what is the general theme of the event? So for example, I just saw someone that's hosting like a conference for virtual assistants. And I was like, what a niche, but also very cool. Because think about it, like, okay, all the virtual assistants can go there and know that they're going to get information that directly applies to them. When I host my event, which is Big Brand Energy, coming back in June 2026, I should just say the date out loud. I have been holding back on all of this right now as I wait to sort out the details, but I just shouldn't anymore. We'll drop the link to like the Big Brand Energy ticket wait list because I am willing to bet by the end of January I'm launching tickets. Whoo, just put that out to the universe. Okay. It's happening. I think I've got the venue. I think I've got the date. We just got to once I get back from vacation, I got to seal all of that up and pay a deposit so I can start marketing. But here's the thing. So when I do Big Brand Energy, like the concept of that event is, what is the biggest dream that you have? You're going to come to this event and you're going to learn what you need to bring it to life. When I think about my friend Taylor, who hosts the Power Table Live in Florida, her brand, and when I think about the Power Table personally, I just think about the community behind it. I think about how she always talks about how much money people have made from going to her conference. So she really prides herself in creating a community that does business with each other. And that's a very powerful thing. And, if I'm going to the Power Table, I know that I'm going to be learning how I can also build a personal brand, build a community, monetize. So that's where I would go for that. Speaking at an event in February called $1 Billion Vision, it really is like, okay, when we look at building these really big businesses that are capable of producing so much income, we have to become a different person. We have to become the billionaire version of us that can hold that. And so that's what a lot of the content at that event is going to be speaking to. And all these events that I mentioned, the links will be in the show notes. So you can go check them out and buy a ticket. I have promo codes and affiliate links for some, so you can save some money on your ticket. So all of those will be in the show notes if one of these is sounding resonant to you. But that's the other thing, right? Really check out what the actual theme of the event is, maybe what some of the high level topics, every good event is going to tell you these are the takeaways. So make sure that you're checking those out and make sure that they really relate to you as well. The reason why I don't treat those as Bible is because I have been running things by my intuition at this point. So if I see an event and it really resonates and calls to me, I'm like, I'm in. I'm going to go. So I care less about the details and I just trust that I'm making the right decision. And, there have been events that I've gone to where I've met the best connections. I've met brand partners that have paid me tens of thousands of dollars. And if you would have actually asked me if this is an event for me based on the landing page, I would have been like, I don't think so. So that's the other thing. Let's not think we need to be so rigid about our process. We can also go based off of a feeling. Sometimes that's allowed. I'm saying this for myself, okay? That's allowed. So that's kind of the criteria I would use when you're choosing events to go to. So now let's talk a little bit about how to make the most of events when you go, okay? Because this is where you either make or break the opportunity. And I'd hate to see you invest money into going to an event, time, all of these things, and then not actually see the ROI or the return that you hoped for. And let me just caveat this real quick because If you've listened to this podcast, you'll know I am, especially when I'm traveling, I love to do the like post event spiral where I sit in the hotel room and like my nervous system freaks out that I haven't met enough people, I haven't gotten enough content, I haven't, shared enough about my business. I'm never going to make back the money that I invested into going. I do it every single time. Okay. I would encourage you to not do that. I myself am working on like breaking out of that. Just trust. I mean, I think I've mentioned this on this podcast before. You can scroll back my Instagram reels and also see this. Like, I actually posted a reel or like towards the end of 2025 that was like, it was when I had finished all of my travels for the year. So I could go back and add up all my travel expenses. I spent about $25,000 on going to events in 2025. The return, about $90,000. Okay. That's between clients, that is brand partners, and like, I think I got like maybe 6 or 7 speaking gigs, all from those events, like just like the domino effect of going. And those are just direct results. Indirect results are also important. So, by you being a personal brand who travels, by you showing your audience that you're someone who travels, that you have clients all over the map, that maybe you're getting into all these different rooms, you elevate your brand authority when you do that too. So, it's very hard to track which clients may have started to follow you or decide that they wanted to work with you because they saw you doing that part, right? That just becomes part of your brand. I know for me, it's a big part of my brand. Early on in my business, I had someone say, like, the reason why I wanted to work with you is because I love your travel content. So just know that that's an indirect result that's also very, very important. So even though I can say I made $90,000 directly from going to events in 2025, I actually believe that number to be much higher based on like, who decided to buy because they saw my brand elevate through travel, and what referrals or what followers came to me because I met someone in a room and then maybe they recommended me to their friends, and so on and so forth. So that's really important to keep in mind as well. So how do we make the most of going to these events to make sure that there's a return? Well, before you go, please make sure that you have like your social media up to date. Like, have an updated bio, have a, updated website. I don't think you need to go do a full rebrand, but people are going to be searching for you, right? Like, you're going to meet someone and then they're going to ask like, "Oh, where should I follow you?" And you're going to give them either your Instagram or your LinkedIn, depending on the type of room or audience that you're with. So really make sure that you've taken the time to like complete those. They're up to date. The photo on either of them is up to date and like looks like you. And the other thing that I would consider is have an offer or something that they can opt into right then and there. And I say this because back in August, I sold someone into the Fame Ready Entrepreneur Program while we were walking to like get pizza. Okay. We were in New York City for the Rich Girl Cult Conference. And I was walking with a group of attendees. Like, we're all just like, oh, like, let's go get a pizza before we all split to get ready for the after party. And as we were walking, I was telling this woman about my program, what it includes, everything. And she was like, "I'm in right now. Send me the link." And so that's how fast it can happen. And so I think, I'm someone who used to commit this crime of like, you have to book a discovery call with me. You have to, go through this process. I only accept, I had a group program, but it was all cohorted. So like, there would be times when it wasn't running. So like, I would be missing revenue generating opportunities. So have something that you can actually like sell people into right then and there. Because if someone is super interested in working with you, then it's really important that you have something that they can like get into right away. Okay, I must take a drink of my coffee. My voice is so weak. Okay, we're gonna get through it. So that's just good business protocol anyways, right? If you have an online business, have some sort of offer, even if it's just like a $50 like low ticket offer that you can sell somebody into. I really think that going into any event with something where people can, like, act quickly is great. The other thing, so if you're someone who does more high ticket stuff, sure, like have the low ticket. But as you move through an event, you'll probably collect a list of people who, might express interest in working with you. Or maybe they are like, oh, I should connect you to this client that I have that would need you. Like, you're going to have conversations where people will insinuate that like they're either interested in working with you or know someone who is. It is your responsibility to follow up with those people after the event is done. So, last March, I went to a conference and I met someone who was interested in being a one-on-one client of mine. I told her about the program. I, gave her all the details when we were in person. She wasn't ready quite yet, but she was like, I think next month, because we met in March and she signed on as a client in April. So she was like, I think I'm going to be ready like in a month from now. So I, keep it's very casual, but I keep a little lead list in my phone. And I looked at in April and I was like, okay, I'm going to follow up with her and just see if she's ready. Sent her a DM, asked her if she's ready. She's like, yeah, I'm going to be ready in May. So like, let me save my spot with the deposit. Send her the link, deposit paid. We didn't even do a discovery call. Okay. And this was for like a high ticket my high ticket one-on-one program. But because we had spent enough FaceTime together, like at this event, she didn't need all the like hard and fast details. She knew I was the person that she wanted to work with. And it happened so easy and so fast. But it was because I was holding myself responsible to following up with the people that I had met. And, I keep this list. Sometimes people will follow up, quite quickly. Like I think about another event that I was at later this year. I met someone who knew she wanted to be a one-on-one client like right away. It was a kind of an intense 3-day event. So I just said, I'll send you all of the details when I get back home. I got home on like a Sunday night. By Monday morning, she was like, I'm in, I paid. And yeah, as I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, wow, it really is. It really can be that easy if we make it that easy for ourselves. So yeah, just make sure you're keeping this list and you check it. Santa Claus, right? Making the list, checking it twice. I'm sad that Christmas is over. It's always such a magical time of year, and now we're just in January. Anyways, so that's what I want you to do when it comes to like building up this lead list. Um, I'm even thinking to myself right now, there was someone I met last month at a Chamber of Commerce event. I followed up, like the event was like early December, late November, early December. So at a time when people really were starting to get into holiday mode, and I'd reached out to him asking if he was interested in like setting up a time to chat. He got back to me pretty quickly and was just like, yes, I am just like wrapping some things up before the holidays. So like, let's definitely set up a time to chat in the new year. So now I like have that in the back of my mind. So I'm going to follow up with him and say, Happy New Year. Would love to connect with you if that's still of interest. So that's really important to remember too, right? Like timing is everything. You are going to meet clients, people that want to buy from you who are not going to be in the position to do that quite yet. Okay. And it's your responsibility to keep them warm, to, follow up with them to see if they're ready, and don't let time like get in the way. So a lot of the time we think like, oh, well, so much time has gone by. They've forgotten about me. They probably, they're not prioritizing whatever project you can help them on. But you never know until you ask. And that brings me to my third point. So make sure that you are keeping people warm on social media after you meet them. So this is one of the reasons why I am so hell bent on making sure all of my clients have an active social media presence. They're posting consistently on social media. They're showing up, talking about their offers, talking about their services, their unique perspectives, because this is how you keep these people warm. I mean, there have been times when I've signed clients months after we met at an initial event, maybe even a year. I'm sure that there will be people that become clients this year who I met in 2025. And the reason why they decided to work with me this year is because I kept them warm, whether that was on an email list, whether that was through my content. They didn't just forget about me. We followed each other, we stayed connected, and they could continue to see me show up and talk about my service offering, which really ensures that you're making the most out of that event like long after it ends. So that would be kind of that third point, right? Like this is why we have a place to catch all of these people. This is why we have Instagram, we have LinkedIn. Like meeting people in person is a great way to like expand the network, and then like putting them all in a place where they can continue to hear from you and see you is really what starts to build up a strong personal brand. Okay. We're wrapping this up here. So the chaos today, because Dexter also knows that we're leaving. And so he gets all like kind of mad. He gets a bit mad when he can tell that we are about to take off without him. So that's a whole other thing. So, anyways, as we wrap this up, I hope that you've learned some like great little tips on how you can start to make events really work for you. So, let me just run you through some of the events that I'm going to, or at least like have kind of booked right now. I'm sure this list is going to grow. One of my clients in the Fame Ready Entrepreneur program actually was like, hey, we should have a running list of like events and conferences that all of us like are going to. So, we can like tap into that and see like what other people are attending, what events are out there. And I thought that was a great idea. So I'm going to put that together. As always, you can join the Fame Ready Entrepreneur program through the show notes. This is really the place where you're going to bring your personal brand to life in 2026. It's where you're going to be able to speak on more stages, get on more podcasts, really create the famous personal brand. I mean, you're listening to Fame Ready. So if you're an avid listener of this podcast, I'm going to say you're a perfect fit for the Fame Ready Entrepreneur program. So that link is in the show notes. Let me just mentally, okay, so let me run you through all of the events I'm so excited to attend as we kind of head into the new year. So, the first one, I am emceeing the Canadian Digital Marketing Summit in Victoria, British Columbia at the end of this month. So, the end of January. This is a great one if you're local. It really is a hyper local event. So, if you're someone who lives on the island in Victoria, even like, Vancouver, Lower Mainland, and you're just like, yeah, I'd love a quick trip to the island, because like who doesn't? Ugh, the people there are so nice. So the Canadian Digital Marketing Summit, that link will be in the show notes. I will be emceeing. That really is for you if you are, like I said, local, wanting to expand your network locally. If you're a small business owner looking to understand where you should invest your time and money when it comes to marketing, or if you're a marketer looking to learn the latest trends, what's new, how AI is, going to impact the tactics that you are using this year. So that's a really great place to go if you're part of my local audience. At the end of February, I mentioned earlier in this episode, is Billion Dollar Vision in Madison, Wisconsin. I am speaking alongside icons like Jen Gottlieb, Cassandra Britton. You can use code Katrina and it'll get you 10% off your ticket. So that link is in the show notes as well. VIP is sold out, but you should still come grab a general admission ticket. They're fairly affordable, especially if you use my code. And I just think like what a great room. The vibes are going to be like elevated, cozy, winter, furs, leather. Like, I'm just really excited. I think it's going to be a very, very inspiring event. After that, I'm headed to Burlington, Ontario for High Vibe Women. I'm so excited. I've wanted to go to this event for so long. So I'm going as an attendee. It's going to be great. I'm also going to go to the one in October. I don't believe tickets are released yet. We'll have more updates on that one to come. So just stay tuned. But Burlington, Ontario, High Vibe Women. We'll just link to the website in the show notes. I believe there are still some general admission tickets left if you're interested in coming to that. Then April is Power Table Live in Destin, Florida. I am speaking alongside so many amazing women that it's actually, you guys, this event is going to be so fun. There are so many people coming from Vancouver. Okay. It's going to be like Canadians take Florida, first of all. And just the sheer amount of people that I know going, I'm like, this feels like my high school reunion. So that's going to be really, really fun. I do have a code that you can use to get $100 off your ticket. It's code Fame Ready. We'll also put that link and code in the show notes as well. Um, what else? What else? I think that's all I've got, like, officially, like, that's all I can, like, officially say right now. Like I said, we're bringing back big brand energy, with a bigger, better, more exciting event. It's going to be in June. It'll be here in British Columbia in the Fraser Valley. I've got a couple other, like, collaborative events that I'm working on in the Vancouver area as well. Once I can share more details about those, I definitely will. But, yeah, I hope that I'm getting into a room with all of you this year, because why not? This is where you're going to grow your personal brand. Getting into a room where you, like, start to meet people who know you already, and like, them, like, nothing makes me more famous that, or like makes me feel more famous. I guess that makes me more famous generally as well. But nothing makes me feel more famous than going to events where I already know people and I feel my network expanding and my follower count always grows. And it's just, I always leave feeling inspired, and feeling like I reached a new level in my business. So I want that for all of you too. So please, if you liked this podcast, if you end up going to any of these events, please send me a DM. Please rate and review this podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts. Please follow me at Katrina Owens PR. This is where you can DM me to tell me which events you're going to. Oh, also, if you're like, hey, there's actually this really cool conference, you should totally come. Please also, like, send that to me, because I'm always looking for more. Um, yeah. So that's all that. Running the list in my head. Did I say everything I needed to say? Oh, follow the podcast on Instagram at Get Fame Ready. And I'll see you all next week. Okay. Toodles.